thing is my whole thing when we having this conversation, I think about the men. I think about you. I think about other black men that's out here trying their best to make it in society, trying their hardest to be upstanding men, trying their hardest not to be in the streets, and then they go and try to interact with women, and they actually trying to be righteous people, and they still not enough. They still got to do more and more and more, and still got to do this and still got to do that, still got to be arguing with people and still got to be fussing with people. It's just,
Hey,
when can
Hey
you take
friend,
a
how you
break?
doing?
sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Good, how are you?
No, you're
No,
fine.
you're
I'm all
fine.
right. So let's ask them the same things. So we'll go question by question, and we'll start with you, Wawa, and then we'll go to Fran. So we just had Super up here, and I asked Super who on average makes more money over the course of a career, like a high school graduate and a college graduate. She told me that she didn't know the answer to that. Yeah, I
It's
know. I
college
did.
graduate.
Yeah, I know. I did. She said apparently at 28 years old, she don't know the answer to that.
That's wild.
So I told her that it's a college graduate. Now I said, are there instances where high school graduates make more money than college graduates? Of course, but on average, college graduates make more money than high school graduates. Then I went on, Rob and I were asking her, like, you as woman, because she said she knows plenty of men who don't have jobs, don't have anything going on, and are, living with women and sponging off
Oh,
women. And what I said was, it's only respectfully, it's only dumb women that are allowing men
hmm.
to do stuff like that. And what she went on to say, well, it's not that they're dumb; it's just they don't have the resources to know that that they shouldn't be doing that. So making an excuse again. Then Rob asked her, like, what woman, when you're chatting with your girls and stuff, what are you guys talking about, getting with men that aren't going to be working, aren't going to be trying to improve themselves, and they're just going to be at the house playing the video game all day, talking to people online? And she didn't have an answer to that either. And then when I asked her, I said, "Hey, who initiates more, the other party more? Do men initiate women more, or do women initiate men more?" And then I also asked her, I said, when it comes to like dates and stuff like that, is it men taking women on dates most of the time, or is it in paying for stuff, or is it women taking men on dates and paying? She said, well, it depends on who initiates, and they're the one that are responsible for paying for the date.
So I think traditionally the man pays, right? And there are a lot of men who are still on that route, right? They will not accept or let you pay for a date. And I have friends, even my male friends, when we go out to lunch and we're like having lunch dates where we're like catching up and it's just like friend dates, still won't let me pay because that's just not in their sort of mind frame. Like there's no reason that I should be paying for anything. But I understand where she was saying sort of there has been a shift and a lot of, like I said, I think I'm the exception here. Like most of my friends have their partners. So we're not talking about this at all, right? This isn't
Mm-hmm.
a topic of our conversation, right? We might be talking about our relationship and what's happening and what's going on there and some things that we need to do or improve in those regards, but we're not talking about sort of gender roles or like who should be doing X, X, and X, right? Unless like your man is doing something crazy and you need advice about that. So I feel like I'm just out of the loop. Like I said, like I've been with my husband for 15 years. Like I met him when I was 15, but like he didn't have anything, right? Like we struggled through life together. I make more than him now. I'm going to make more in the future, but that's just what we have agreed for us, right? Like when it comes to money, it's one pot. So it's not I make more than you, it's we make X amount a year. What do we need to do to get us to where we are or where we want to be? And what do we need to do to make sure our kids are good?
So Wawa, if
He
he
wants more babies.
if he woke up tomorrow morning and decided that he was just gonna stop working and just chill the rest of his life, because again, like you said, you make more money than him now, and you're going to be making more money than him in the future, would you be cool with that?
If he just like didn't contribute at all.
Yes, if he woke up tomorrow morning and said, "I'm about to just like be chilling the rest of my life because you gonna take care of us, like you got it."
Not if he's not going to contribute at all. Like if he's going to take over the, and I'll just say this from our perspective, right? we both want more kids. I don't know where that fits in my career. We have one child, and I don't want to have another kid and then be working the hours that I work because I'm a lawyer, so I have crazy hours. I don't want to be working the hours that I work and not be able to spend the time that I want to spend with my kids, right? And I don't want my kids to be raised in a daycare, right? So we've already talked about the fact that, I mean, income wise, if he didn't work and I get the promotion that I want to get, he could stay home and we could have the family life that we want. I'm okay with that. He's okay with that. Because at that point, he's not sitting at home and doing nothing, right? He's taking on the responsibility and raising our kids the way we want them raised.
So I just want to be clear. You would be 100% fine with if your husband woke up tomorrow morning and said like, I'm about to just stay at home and, you know, take care of our kid that we have right now, and, you know, while you go to work, I'm gonna just be chilling like the whole day, and, you know, you're gonna take care of us going forward for the rest of our life.
So long as I can financially do it, I'm fine with it. I mean, but I have the finances to do that.
But okay.
It's literally already in our plans.
Okay. I know you said most of your, but do you think most that's an ideal situation for a lot of women? Like, be honest.
Most of my friends aren't in that situation.
Not your friends, not your friends. Most. We're not just talking about your circle. Do you think that is an ideal situation for most women? In this world that we live in today, in this society that we live in, do you think that is an ideal situation for most women? Be 100% honest.
Is what I'm saying ideal? I think that's ideal for most women, yes. But if we're asking, like, is it idealistic versus is it reality? Like, reality, I don't think most
you're
saying
that you feel that most women want a situation to where they're going to be doing the working and they're going to have a house husband.
Oh no, I don't. I think my situation is idealistic, right? In that we have the finances that we can decide.
No.
You know
I'm not talking to put you. I'm not talking about you personally. I'm asking you, do you think how your situation is right now and how it could possibly be in the future? I'm asking you, do you think that is an ideal situation for that is an ideal situation that most women want?
I don't think most women want it. No.
Okay. So do you? So they wouldn't. They probably wouldn't be attracted to those type of men then.
Well, I don't know what those type of men are, right? Because when I was going through school, right, my husband did all of the traditional male roles, right?
Chime in, Fran. Free to chime in.
Sorry, I said I think he means like men who want to stay home. I'm not talking. I don't think he's like pertaining to specifically your scenario because that's very different because you've been together for so long. I think he means just like in general, if it was a random woman just like out in the world about to date, do you think they'd be attracted to men who have a plan to stay at home?
Like Fran and I are the same. Fran and I are the same age range. Like we work in the same industry. Like if I just went up to Fran and was like, "Yo, like, you know, I want to be with you, but I want you to like take care of me and we can have kids, and, you know, I'm gonna just be at the house, you know, doing whatever I'm doing, and, you know, you're gonna take care of me and everything else."
Yeah, generally, I don't think that that's what women want.
Right, and can we make it like something more tangible? Because a lot of people don't even know what marriage is. A lot of people don't have positive examples of marriage. How many women want to go on 20 straight dates with a man and she pay for all of them?
How many men want to do that either? Like, I wouldn't want to. I mean, I guess I know a lot of men that do.
That's the point.
Men are expected to carry that responsibility. But I'm simply asking, how many of your women friends would go on 20 straight dates with a man and she finances all those dates? She carries the responsibility of picking him up, dropping him off, paying for all the dates, and he just coming along.
I don't know nobody that's gonna do that.
Right. So you saying it's zero. So you saying nobody, 0%. So once again, then we can go back to the marriage thing. How many women are going to school, getting a career, getting their last tech certificate, becoming a lawyer, becoming a doctor,
Take care
becoming
of
an
a man.
engineer, and then at the end of all that, they're telling their mother and their father, "I can't wait for the day that I have a man in my house breaking in $0, and he just is in the house while I'm working. I can't
But
wait for that."
I don't know that. I don't know, like, well, especially like when you get to higher education, I don't know that we're really focusing on that. We're focusing on our lifestyle. Like, what kind of lifestyle
Okay,
do we
but we're
want?
not talking about the lifestyle. We're talking about what we're
Right.
talking about. You're going off topic. We're talking about dating and marriage. How many women that are lawyers, doctors, any kind of career path focused women are getting their career together in the hopes that they're going to be well off enough that they're going to have a man in their household paying for nothing, and she's maintaining his lifestyle.
I don't think we're picking from the same pool of men to even
We're
have
gonna
that conversation.
okay. We're gonna ask 1,000 women. Would you be completely ready to provide and protect for your man while he brings in $0 to the household and he manages all the household responsibilities and duties while you go out and work and you cover 100% of all the financial load? Out of 1,000 women, how many of those women would say yes, that's what I'm planning for?
Maybe 30%.
Okay, so out of 1,000 women, 30%, you think that 300 women would tell you that they are going to college,
Bruh.
starting a business, so they can have a man in their household bringing in $0, and they're doing all of the provisioning for that man in their household? 300?
No, I mean, I guess it's likely less than 300. I don't think that this is the conversation we're having.
Ma'am,
Like, I don't think the conversation we're having is necessarily the way people think about relationships, right?
okay,
So,
ma'am, you said you're a lawyer?
it's Wawa, but yes,
You said you're a lawyer?
I am a lawyer.
What kind of practice?
I do government contracting.
Oh, that's sick. That's so cool.
You do what?
Government contracting.
Government contracting.
Mm-hmm.
Contract law is like,
Okay.
I guess, the broad term, but that's a really cool area.
And I'm asking,
Yeah.
out of all of your government contract, strong, smart, educated women friends, how many of those women, when you guys go out at 5 for happy hour, go to dinner, or if they're not married right now, they're single, are saying, "Girl, next week I can't wait to go on a date, and I'm taking him to dinner, and I'm picking him up and I'm dropping him off, and I'm so excited to take him on a date."
I mean, this is going to be sad, but I actually have a few friends that do exactly that.
How many?
Off the top of my head, I can name at least 4
And they
single
do it
women from
consistently
law
every
school
time?
that do that. Huh?
And that's what they do. They don't have men don't pay for them. They pay for the men, and men don't pay for them.
I have friends that have literally paid for men to even drive to
No,
them.
always.
I don't know. No, it's not always.
Okay, that's what we're saying. Always.
Rob. She just said that women that are getting in hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt to become lawyers, dentists, orthodontists, doctors, surgeons, etc. He said out of 1,000 women, 300 of those women are doing it and dreaming of 100% financially. Take it, Rob.
Wait, no. Hold on. Hold on, Noble. Wait, the 1,000 people was not those people, because that's why I said that they're not picking up the same pool.
You said
most people that go to law school find their partner at law school, so they're gonna be on similar. That's what I'm saying. Like, most people in those restaurants are finding their partner.
He asked me a very specific question. Too bad I can't play it back right now. He asked me a very specific
No,
question.
I thought he said of thousands of women, not of thousands.
No, he said 1,000. You
Hold
said
on, Noble.
30% of those 1,000
Let's
women.
hold on, Noble. Let's be clear. This is
Lord.
not extra. This a lot of people in the chat is talking, and I'm just trying to make sense. I want stuff to make sense for me, because this is affecting me in my personal life. I want to understand this. We asked a poll of 1,000 women, not thousands of women. We are going to sit down at a desk, and 1,000 women are going to be in a straight line in front of us.
Even if it was thousands of women, even if it was thousands, 30% of thousands of women want to do that? Come on, Rob. Don't go ahead. All right, go ahead.
I'm confused right now
I'm
because you're
asking the lawyer.
hold on.
The
I'm
government
confused because
contract lawyer.
are we talking about women in general, or are we talking about women with higher education?
Ma'am,
No,
it's
wait,
like
guys. I think that the confusion here is that when she
there's no
answers, you
confusion.
then say, "Wait,
There's
let
no
me finish."
confusion.
You then say, "Oh, but like these women who are pursuing higher degrees, you think that 30% of those women, blah blah blah." But
Okay,
then you're saying
how
there's
about
just
this?
1,000 women. So is it which
Let's
one is
do it
it?
this way. I'm sorry,
He
y'all.
doesn't have to put me down because of my
I'm
career. I don't care.
That's the
I'm
thing. Like,
sorry.
it's not about
I'm
that.
three
You're
dimensional, and you
confusing
guys
her
want to be
perception, but that's how it sounds.
okay. I'm three dimensional, and you guys want to be 2D. I understand. That's too much.
Okay, let's not
Well,
put
that was
down other people's
condescending.
intelligence.
It was
Okay.
condescending because I'm trying to be clear. Miss Fran,
It was.
whatever you
Sure.
do for work, do you have the decision that you want to pay 100% of the bills, do 100% of the provisioning for your household, and your man stays at house?
No.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Miss Wawa, do you want to manage 100% of the provision and protecting for your family for the rest of your life while your man brings in $0, brings in absolute $0, and while you go out and work for your contract lawyer government gig and he stays in the house?
If he's taking care of my kids, I'm fine with it.
Okay,
That's the
that's
difference,
one out
though,
of
because
two.
you're married, and I'm not.
Exactly.
I'm single, and I'm like a lot younger than you, I suppose, because you said you've been with your husband for 50 years. So there's like at least 7 years difference between us. The difference
I'm
is
only
when
30.
so
I'm
I'm
only
23.
30.
So like when I say a lot, I mean more than like 5 years. Like I don't
Okay,
mean you're old. Don't worry.
hold on,
But
guys.
the
We're
perception
talking.
of it is
That's
like very different when you have children, because the value of someone raising your kids is very different to me thinking like, I don't have kids, right? No one needs to stay at home with my pet all day. Like, that's
but
different.
we're talking about getting to okay, Miss Fran. I'm sorry. Excuse me. You're not married. You're single. You got a pet. Miss Fran, for the next 30 dates you go on, would you be willing to pay for all those dates with men and initiate all contact with the men that you're interested in?
I mean, no, just because I can't be bothered, especially to reach out to people. Like, I really can't be bothered. But no, I don't believe I should pay for the first date.
You don't believe you should pay for the first date?
No, my dad taught me
Why?
not to.
Okay, your dad taught you to be a woman, right?
Well, I was just raised that way, yeah.
Right. So you were raised that a man's supposed to carry the responsibility of provisioning for you.
Well, for
Provisioning
the
means
first date, yes,
I,
100%. If we like start dating, like sometimes we split. Like, it depends on like however
no, no,
that works, right?
no. The conversation we're talking about is a woman making the decision to provision fully for a man.
Yeah, no, I'd never do that. I wasn't raised that way. But that's just how
Okay,
I was
thank you
raised.
so much. Thank you. Thank you. It's that cut and dry. It's that cut and dry. We don't got to go, we don't got to qualify it what your daddy said, your mama said. It's just that cut and dry. You realize that that's out of place. That's out of
What's out of
place.
place?
You and what you know and what your daddy told you is that as a young lady, a man is supposed to be doing some sort of provisioning.
Well,
If
if
you
they ask
came,
me on a
if
date,
hold it, if you came home and told your daddy, your real life daddy, hey dad, I went on the last 3 dates with the guy and I paid for everything.
We died. Oh my God.
he'd say why.
Right.
But
You
Rob,
know,
why are you even trying to why are you even trying to make it seem like it's because like Rob, when people are dating, don't even try to make it like exclusive to one person. When people are dating, like Rob, the girl that you're going on a date with this morning, this about to be your first date, right?
yeah, first date.
Yeah, okay, but you went on a date. You went on a date with another woman not too long ago, right?
Right.
So when people are dating, they're not just dating one person. They're meeting and doing things with different people, right? So
Yeah,
as
you
a
can.
man on these first dates, especially on these first dates, you're the one that's being financially responsible for these
Right.
things, right? So let's not
Right.
even make it exclusive to one person.
Right.
So
I
when you
care.
say whether I'm going on 10 dates or 20 or 30, as a woman, would you be cool with, like you said, whether it be picking up, paying for ride shares, paying for the food, paying for the after festivities? Would you as a woman be cool doing that? Because that's what men have to do.
That
And
sounds expensive.
But
it
it's
is
also like
It
to
expensive.
is
choose how many
expensive.
dates you go on with, right? Like it's about like who you choose. Like if you choose to go on 20 dates, like you choose to go on 20 dates, right? Like I would never go on 20 dates. I don't have the time for that. Like that's insane. With
Right.
I
20
know,
different
I know.
people, that's insane.
That's a
But that
figurative number we die, but I said we die, friend, but we're just saying in general, like, would you
but
would you be cool with just assuming that responsibility that men have
I
to
mean, you have
just
to assume the responsibility of your personal finances within that respect, right? Like if you know you earn X amount of money and you can afford X amount on your personal expenditures for like enjoyment, whether that be going to like a vacation or a club or taking someone on a date, like you should factor that in.
okay, but
Everyone
that's
should.
the
When I go on a
thing.
date, I always take the money just in case I want to dip or I'm afraid. Like I'm always like, I always have my cash with me
But the
because I don't
whole
want an
thing
excuse for
is,
someone to hold me there.
but the whole
I don't
thing
want someone to have
is,
that.
right. But listen to this. The whole point, now we're coming full circle, because the whole point of this conversation, while we're talking about what we're talking about, is because Miss Wawa and another young lady said, "Oh, times are changed. Women are educated. Women have money. Women have access. Women have power. For women are equal. But y'all don't be carrying
Walisha
equal."
didn't say none of that.
Wait, I don't think Wawa said that. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. But anyway, women don't carry the same responsibility that men do, because if you did, it would be no problem for you to be paying for dates. It would be no problem for you to be provisioning for men. That number that was so-called 30% of women would be a lot higher. So if what Wawa said is true, that 30% of women would definitely take
we
on the
died. I'm gonna get
position,
you in here.
they would definitely take the position of provisioning for their men 100%. Then now, since women have a lot more access, a lot more money, so high standard education, that would mean that from civil rights all the way to now, we should have an increase of women being the provisioners for households. But we don't see
Well,
that.
the thing is, it's not directly correlated to rights. And Wawa, you can hop in on this if you have an opinion, but for me, I think that a lot of traditional women slash male responsibilities or beliefs stem way, way, way before like the 1960s, like well before then. It's really just integrated into society, especially
Okay.
given the fact that it is just like it's a known fact over the course of a life. Oftentimes, women earn less than men. Why? Because if women have kids, when you take a break from work, generally speaking, for the majority of career paths, and speaking careers, not jobs, you're losing out on potential gains in your career. So you lose money. But historically speaking, women have stayed at home, like literally since hunter gatherer days, right? Like
Okay. And
they were
and
the gatherer, and
and
that's
one
just like
and
that's
once
just how it has
again,
been.
I understand that, but you got to listen. You got to follow the conversation.
I'm
We're
following,
we're
so don't
saying
condescend.
we're saying we're saying that you just said since the dawn of time, women are the gatherers and men are the hunters. But now we're saying that of this day and age, now women have a lot stronger access to being the hunters. Now they can earn money. They are educated. But
Yes,
if
but
that's
you did.
but
I think you missed my first point, which was that they're not directly correlated. Having more rights and having more access to things does not mean that the societal perception of those gender roles changes.
right, so that's what that. So when you keep repeating that, it just further reinforces that all that provision and access you have doesn't earn you anything more, because my responsibility is still the same. It doesn't lighten my load because you have a degree. I'm still responsible to provision for you. I'm still responsible to carry the burden and all the comings of making sure you're good, because like you just said, all that stuff about you being modern and educated and all that stuff still that has a bearing on societal influence. And society tells me that the man still has to be the provisioner. No matter how smart you are, no matter how many degrees you collect, no matter how much money is your bank account, I still carry the responsibility of provisioning, no matter if you got it or not.
Right. Okay, but like, what's the issue with that? Like, it really
Right.
depends
So
relationship to
exactly.
relationship.
And
People
you just
discuss that.
and once again you just proved the point. Once again you just continue to prove what I'm talking about. You just said what's wrong with that. You just said what's wrong with that. What's wrong
Right,
with that
because
is
couples decide
right.
together.
What's wrong with that is you have more access and more and more and more. Your pot is getting larger and larger and larger, and my pot has to continue to compete with you, the provision for you, when you already can do plenty for yourself and help me out. But that's the
Well, a
thing.
lot of couples have
Okay, but
joint bank
that's the
accounts.
thing. Like you
One
just
pot.
keep reinforcing what I'm already saying. It
But
doesn't
if it's a
matter.
joint bank account, both pools of funds are growing.
Okay, but the whole thing is
So that
that
does provide for you if you are the man who earns less.
what we're talking about is that you don't provision for me.
And what you're not grasping is that if you have a shared pool of money, if the woman earns more, they are in fact providing.
Okay, how many women want to do that?
Well, if you want
I
to get
don't know
married,
the
then you
exact
should.
number, but there are plenty of couples that have one. Even Wawa said she has a joint
Okay,
account.
but you just said your daddy said you better not be paying for no date.
I said for the first date, it's like, yeah, I've always been taught first date, hell no.
Okay, right, but why not? You got it. Tell your
Because my
daddy.
dad is
Tell your
very traditional, and
okay.
because that's just how we were
Tell your
raised.
daddy. Tell your
I'm not
dad.
telling my daddy shit from you, first of all. He has a PhD. Please do not tell me what to tell my daddy from
But
you,
tell your daddy
first of
he's out
all.
of date. Tell your
My
daddy he's
dad's not out
old.
of date. Thank you very much.
Tell him
My
he's a
dad's just who he
dinosaur.
is. Everyone has their own different morals. I'm from England, for example. In England, the boys are raised often. You pay for the date because you're a boy. You asked her out. If you're asking for her time, then yeah, you pay for it. As couples progress, as they do in marriages, you split things. You split things differently. And that's just on growth, and that's just on establishing your relationship and
And
establishing
the
what
and the
each person
whole
can afford. But if
and
you're
that's
asking
the
for me for my
point.
time, like the same way that when a company flies out a client or a
Mhm.
prospective employee, they pay for them because they're paying for their time. Like it's a generally accepted concept. Like if I asked a boy out, I would pay, but I wouldn't do that because I just don't feel like it.
Yeah, so you want to benefit, even though you got it. You have plenty access, plenty ability to do for a man. You just understand that you don't have to. You have the luxury of choosing not to, but a man always
Well,
has
yeah,
to.
no one has
That,
to pay for anything if they don't want to. That's
right,
literally freedom
and
of choice, right? Like,
that's the point. That's
Just
what we're
date
talking
somebody
about.
else.
A man always has to carry the responsibility. You get to choose when and where you don't want to do it.
well, if a man didn't want to, they could easily find a woman who's more 50-50.
Right. Okay, I
Like when
understand.
you're going on these dates, like he mentioned you have a date coming up. Did you ask her out?
Yeah, that's what we're
Did you
talking
ask
about.
her out? Can you just answer the question? You like it cut and dry. Did you ask her out? Yes or no? Right. So are you going to pay? Yes or no? So you're not going to pay.
That's
So why not?
but that's
Is
the
it because you want to be
point.
treated like a baddie? Is it because you want to be treated?
And see, now you're going, and that's what I'm
See,
saying.
it's
Now you're
silly.
going off
It's
the.
silly because you're not answering my questions and you want it cut and dry. Just yes or
Now
no.
you're saying I want to
Did
be
you ask
treated
her
like a
out?
baddie.
Yeah, a
Because cut and
baddie.
dry is I'm always having to carry the responsibility, but you're trying to
No, you're not.
reinforce.
But you just said you're not paying, so clearly there's no responsibility on your
But
end.
you're
You shook
carrying
your head.
my whole
So it's
thing
her
is
responsibility now.
because you said that you got the rights.
No, I asked you one question. I said, are you paying? Yes or no?
I always pay
So then why'd you shake your head otherwise? So then, yeah, that's your choice, no?
because the whole point is you're trying to reinforce that your education means something to me, and it don't
I didn't
provision.
say that.
A lot of women are saying that.
I didn't say that, though. So why'd you say I did?
A lot
Well,
of women are saying that their education and all of their status and their income means something when it comes down to a man's provisioning it. And you're saying that
I'm
it's
not
your
sure how
choice.
those two correlate. How does a woman's education in your the way you're thinking, how does that affect a man's a contribution? Because the difference is the realistic fact is people date oftentimes within similar income brackets. So yes, is it right that like perhaps someone earning like 500 grand a year expects a little bit more than someone who earns 100 grand a year? Yeah, because they usually date within that realm.
See, that's what I was trying to say when I was saying we're not picking from the same pool when we're lawyers and doctors. We're picking from the pool of men that are in law school and in med school with us.
But
But we're
but
still missing
even
a point. We're still missing a point, guys, and I'm trying to get us to have a positive conversation. I know I don't worry about it. I know the chat's going off, everybody's so excited, but what we're trying to say is that when it comes down to you as a woman and your relationship to a man, the man always carries the more responsibility of making sure that everything goes smoothly between you two, because you're trying to reinforce the stance that your education and that now that you have more access, it means something. When obviously it
No, no,
doesn't,
no,
when
no,
we
no.
It
expect
just, I
the man
didn't say
to
that
make
though.
the decision.
Like, you're hearing what you want to hear out of the conversation right now because nobody said that.
But it's not you two that I'm speaking to, because there's other people watching. It's about the concept that women have that it means something when
Okay, but
it
what
can't.
I don't know how to explain this to you, but like when you can afford more for yourself, you expect someone to have a similar lifestyle, which is what she was speaking about before, because you don't want to decrease that pool that you were speaking about. Okay? So obviously, yeah, if your education is exactly correlated with you earning more money, the higher your education slash the higher your salary, the more you might expect in comparison to other people, but it's still within your realm. It's what you're used to. You want someone with a similar lifestyle. It's not that like women are like, oh, I'm better than you because I earn more than this. Like I'm not looking at someone who isn't within a similar range to me because where's the compatibility on lifestyle? It makes the conversations harder. It makes the like figuring out harder. I don't like having burdens personally.
Okay, but maybe I should do like a cup experiment, like with 2 cups of water or something, because the concept that I'm trying to explain is that women are saying that what they have matters, right? But what I'm trying to explain is that if a man has and he's pouring into you and you never pour into him, right? Then what you have doesn't matter because it's not in relationship to him.
But it is in relation to me if they want to build with me. Like we should be building from similar platforms.
Okay, but the whole thing is at that point, then it should be a lot easier for us to get into relationships, right? Because if what you're saying is true, then
No,
that would
because there's
lead.
different personalities within one bracket, right?
But the
Like not
thing is, you
everyone's
keep moving.
compatible within the same bracket.
But the whole thing is that you keep moving the goalposts, and what I'm trying to
No,
say.
because I think you're having like a difficulty with like understanding like the multifaceted area that you're approaching, and you're trying to like make it one little bracket. Realistically, there's more to life and a relationship than money, even though money tends to be
facts.
like a very big
But the whole thing
factor.
is, when
But
it
there's
comes down, that's
doesn't mean
that's
everyone within the
nice.
same
But what I'm
bracket's
trying to
compatible.
express, but what I'm trying to express is before all of that stuff, you're still expecting a man to have a certain level of responsibilities. And you're saying that you can choose whenever you want to not to do it, right? And
I
that's
never said
fine. That's
that.
okay.
I never said
That's
that.
fine. That's okay. Your daddy told you don't pay for the first date because it's a man's responsibility, right?
I feel like that's a generally accepted notion that yes, the boy asks you on the date because they asked you, you don't pay.
Okay, I understand. And so when a man asks for your time or your company, he's supposed to be able to provision for you, right?
In that small period of time, yeah.
Okay. But why is it that you're carrying that as a truth when you know better that now, since we're so modern and women are so powerful, why don't you do away with that and you say, you know what, sir, I like you enough that you don't have to pay for me. I'll pay for my portion. I'll still enjoy the date. Why don't you take on that?
First of all, if it's a first date, I don't know them well enough to say that I like them enough for that. First of all.
But
Second of all, I didn't ask for their time, they asked me for mine.
right. So what I'm trying to express is, once again, that reinforces what I'm talking about, is a man has to take on the risk of committing his time and his resources to you
Well,
without
he
knowing
chose
you,
to
without
because he
knowing who you are.
asked. Well, he
Right.
asked.
He
So even
wanted
if you
to.
don't like them, So even if you don't have any intention
How would
with
I know
him,
I like them
he's
with or without spending time with them? That's like the time period I'm giving them to decide whether I would or would not like to get to
I
know them
understand.
further.
I understand.
It's called
And
process of elimination.
I understand. And what I'm trying to say is that men still have to carry a certain responsibility. They carry a
For
higher
one
risk.
day.
Men carry the higher risk because, like you said, he's a stranger. He's paying for your
If
time.
one
He's,
date is a risk for their finances, I'm not dating them. That's the problem. Like, you're not seeing it. Like, what? Like, you shouldn't be asking someone on a date if you're like, oh my god, this is a risk to my finances. We're both foregoing time. The thing is, one person already like has chosen to like commit that time when they ask, versus I didn't. So like, I'm not seeing what's such a big issue. It's not that big of a commitment.
the
It's
issue
one
is you
day.
trying to. What I'm trying to express is that you trying to play both sides the benefit your way.
But how's she playing when he's the one that initiated and wanted it?
Okay, I
He like
understand that,
the
but
game
it's
was started by him. Thus, what she's saying is you wanted this, so why not? Right? Like if you're taking a risk to get what you want. Like his reward doesn't necessarily have to be she pays for the next date. It might be that she falls in love with this man, and that's what he wanted all end goal to begin with.
but the
So why are
whole
there
point,
losers?
but the whole thing is you guys keep reiterating that you guys want to carry on with the traditional value while still having modern ideology about the dating situation.
What modern ideology did I express?
Because what you guys said was you're educated and you got money and you can provision for yourselves, right?
I mean, nobody explicitly stated that, but sure.
Right. So if you guys want to be modern and you have access, why don't you
But
move
you're
in a way
saying that women
that
shouldn't
represents
have.
that?
If a woman wants to be provided for, she shouldn't be educated. She shouldn't have money, and she shouldn't be able to provide for herself.
In relationship to a man, why wouldn't you be just as eager to pour into him as he does pour into you? That you're now realizing that it's past the civil rights era and all this other stuff. And
I
now
don't know why
you
you keep mentioning civil rights, because that was about race, not gender. But go ahead.
okay, but that's what I'm trying to express to you is that
You're
you're
trying to
moving in
express
between
what?
two different ideologies.
What, that people should be allowed to vote? Why do you keep mentioning civil rights?
Because when we have this conversation, a lot of people talk about, like you said, back in the day, men had provision and then we were hunter gatherers, and you brought up all these
Okay,
these
maybe
pinpoint.
hold on. Wawa, can you just briefly give this man a breakdown of what the Civil Rights Act was? I believe it was 1960 or 1965, but like I'm tripping on like when it was drafted versus when it was passed. Can you just like throw him a bone on that?
Oh shoot! Wow, I cannot throw that bone.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
I
know
don't
your contract. I know.
see.
No,
And
it's
Noble,
just
here's what I want you to understand: women have this certain language. If you pay attention, when they speak
Sir,
to
you're
each other,
mimicking Kevin Samuels right now. Your
when they
demeanor,
speak
the manner in which you're
when they
speaking. Like,
speak
please don't pretend like women are doing one
no,
thing.
but if you listen to me, if you listen very well, that's what women have this thing they do telepathically, where they speak to each other in a certain way in order to
Telepathically,
get
bruh.
they speak to each other in a certain way to give
I can hear you
confirmation
over
to
here
give confirmation
in
to
the
each other
United States,
that they're
Rand.
gonna try to attack me, right? So
Wait, hold on.
my
Let me
whole
just send
thing is
Wawa a little message
when
telepathically.
when we
Oh,
when we when we have these kind of conversations, Noble, please pay attention, man.
I'm always
You
paying attention, bro.
you'll learn a lot, man. Because I've
you
talked to a
speaking
lot
these
of
men
women.
into singledom.
I I've spoken to a lot of women. If you're not careful, you'll fall into that, man. But anyway,
Fall into what? Telepathy?
no,
I
but
want that
I
power.
want that
you'll see with
too.
time, Noble. But don't worry about it. You'll see with time,
Wait, can
Noble.
I just ask a question, Rob?
But
How old are you?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm 29. Yeah,
You're 29.
yeah.
You're 29.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yes.
Uh,
Noble, pay attention. Go ahead.
I'm just lost.
Go ahead.
Look, like, how are you 29 and saying, well, all women, they're all telepathic and they all speak in this way?
Go ahead.
I mean, your frontal cortex is almost developed, bro. Like, come on.
Go ahead. Keep
I
going.
know you can understand this.
Keep going. Keep going. Noble, pay attention. Keep going, Fran. Or what's your name, Fran? Yeah, keep going.
Rob, everyone is the personified version of a hominem fallacy, which is when you just copy things and just like derail people's arguments. And I learned this in philosophy. It's very, very common. I mean, I'm more than happy. Are you trying to like impose that like this is a threatening little look you're doing with this smirk? Like, relax, buddy.
Yep, keep going.
Relax. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yep. Wawa, you got anything for me?
Keep going? Like what? Like I'm afraid to keep going? Like, please, my mom's a lawyer.
The comments just got me laughing.
Like, my mom's a lawyer. I'm taught to keep going. So it's all right.
Yep. You got any more?
Oh my God, sorry.
I think she just saying that I think she was just trying to say you 29 and single out here giving these men advice that might not be getting them the right kind of women or women in general.
Yep.
Also, your mannerisms are very much.
Wawa, keep going.
They're very much an interpretation.
Fran, hold on. Give Wawa a turn. Wawa, go ahead.
Huh? I said what I had to say.
What do you say? Say it again.
I said what she's trying to say is you 29. You out here giving these young men advice about women while also silencing women, saying, "Oh, but that's not the one," and blah 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 blah. And you might be talking these men into singledom. That's what I'm saying.
Keep going. What else? What else you got to say about that?
But hey, I mean, if y'all if what a relationship is to y'all is talking about a relationship instead of being out here getting what you want, that's on that, right? Like telling women what they are, what they need, what they want. Tell them all what you want to tell them, but you're still out here lonely. That's what I'm saying.
Keep going. You got
to go out here.
Wait, hold on. Wawa. So
Noble.
I know you would let her rock, but bro, no, I ain't gonna do that. Wawa. So you saying just because a man is single that he's lonely. So if I said it because a woman is single that she's lonely, would you agree with that? And if and listen, for those Rob is very much far from broke. Rob probably makes the most money out of all of us in here. Rob doesn't have no problems getting women. Noble don't have any problems getting women. Like we come on here, we have these different discussions about these different things, but you guys don't have to take everything to heart. But Wawa, so you're saying that because a man is single, he's lonely. He could be single, he could be dating, he could be doing a lot of stuff while he's single. But what you just said is that because he's single, he's lonely.
I'm sorry, can I just ask one quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you home, Rob?
Am I what now?
Like at home?
No, I'm not at home.
Okay.
Go ahead. What you got to say?
No, I didn't say it was because you were lonely. I said you might still be out here lonely. That's what I said.
And what, Fran, what you had to say?
We can't hear you, Fran. Your mic is.
What do you have to say about me not being at home?
I said, I'm back. Sorry. I said, Emma, did you watch Kevin Samuels?
No.
Okay. I'm finding it a little hard to believe right now.
Okay,
just like the mannerisms I'm seeing displayed are very similar.
Can you go on with the joke about me not
No,
being
I was just curious if you were like traveling to go on these dates or whether you were like just, not, because it didn't look like you were home. So.
Okay. What is that? Okay, go ahead with the insult. Can you go ahead?
It wasn't an insult. I was just curious to see whether you were like traveling to meet these women, like if you were actively pursuing women to the extent of travel, or whether you were just like going on dates when you genuinely meet someone like at occurrence. Because it doesn't look like you're in a house right now. So like,
you gotta relax.
It doesn't look like I'm in a house right now.
I mean, no. I mean, I didn't know people still had those blinds, so it doesn't really look like a house to me. But yeah.
Okay.
I was just curious. Are you traveling for love, or are you just staying home chilling?
That
to meet love because you have a date, no?
that got something to do with what we talking about?
Well, you're actively pursuing, which implies that you want a relationship, and I think that's where perhaps the lonely word slipped in.
Uh-huh.
I didn't say it, but
Okay. Well, you tried. You did an okay job, but
I don't know who Super is, but I don't care to be right. Like
I wish
okay,
that's
y'all
job with
they
would come.
what?
life.
Like, I'm
I
just
wish y'all would come
asking.
stronger than that. I grew up. We used to roast each other a lot harder than that. Y'all did okay, but next time do better.
I wasn't trying to roast you. I was
Y'all did
trying
okay.
to interpret what I was hearing.
Y'all did okay.
So
Do try harder next time.
But Wawa and friend is whether it's a man or a woman, if they're single and quote unquote dating, does that necessarily mean that they're pursuing a relationship, or could they just be single and dating? Because I mean, like let's be real. Especially on this app, like they have women that their whole profile, like all of their content is them just displaying, the different dates that they went on with men, different men throughout the
oh
week.
yeah,
So I mean,
I see that.
for us to try to say that someone that goes on dates is pursuing a relationship, that's not really the case. That person is just dating. Men go on dates with multiple women. Women go on dates with multiple men. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're looking to be in a committed exclusive relationship.
Yeah.
Well, no, it doesn't necessarily mean that, but at the age of 29, especially, like, I mean, I personally have never seen the reason to be going on dates unless you do want a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like as people get older, yeah, that's the point. Else, why would you waste your time?
Right.
I'm a
Right.
time efficient person. I don't like to waste time, especially on people I don't like fully know, especially if it's like during the week. Like, Jesus Christ, that's a commitment.
Yeah, but you can't
So,
waste
like, why
time if
do
a
it if
man
you're
is.
not looking?
But that's the thing. You can't waste time if a man is covering your time by paying for it.
Well, I can, because I can not enjoy the experience and have to leave when I could have been doing something else.
Right.
That's why I vet people out before I agree to a date.
Okay. And how old are you?
I'm 23.
Okay. And at 23 years old, you live in a house too?
No, I have an apartment and I'm moving to a new one. I wouldn't live in a house alone because as a woman, that's very frightening.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's just a fact. It's
Okay.
petrifying out here. So,
Okay.
why are you asking though?
I'm just asking.
I'm sorry if I offended you about your blinds.
Ma'am, you can't offend me. Like I said, I got money in my pocket.
That's good to know.
This is a TikTok account. I can turn this off and go about my business. I'm not offended by anything you're saying. I think it's entertaining.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I'm not sure why you asked the question if it,
Yeah.
or whatever.
So
But
the whole
yeah,
caddy
like I
energy, it
said, like
works.
what's the point of going on them if your intention isn't to be in a relationship?
Yeah.
Is it just to grab dinner with someone? Then why not just do that with friends?
Yeah. Because the thing is, as a man, like I've already said in the beginning of this conversation, I carry the responsibility of doing what I have to do, because I can't rely on you to vision for me. I can provision anytime. So anytime I want to
Okay.
entertain myself, if I want to entertain myself with the company of a woman, I can do that because I have access to that because I provision for it. It doesn't like you just said. If I just ask you, you might not want me, but if I ask the woman, "Hey, I'm going to dinner, come along," I'm I can provision for her and take on her company and just go along, and it's okay. So
Okay,
that's
but
just the way it
if
works.
it's just for company, that's not a like. If you're just saying, "Oh, like come along," like, and there's no plan involved, like I don't perceive that as a
I don't.
date. I'm talking about like a date.
But that's the thing. It doesn't need a plan. It's what I want to do. She just accompanied me where I want to go
Wait, you think
because
dates
I'm doing
don't
the
require
provisioning.
planning? Like,
Because
how are
I'm
you going
doing
to
the
organize like
provisioning.
them picking the car up and like them picking
No,
her
friend,
up and stuff?
friend, he
But
said,
that's the
friend,
thing.
oh, go
It
ahead, Rob.
don't matter. It doesn't matter because I'm doing the provisioning. I'm telling her to come along with my plans. I'll pay for a Lyft, Uber. I'll tell her I'll pick her up, tell her get dressed, pay for the dinner, wherever I want to do, because I'm doing the provisioning. She just coming along. Like you said, if I asked her out, she just accompanying me. She's not
Okay,
expending
see, but that
anything.
mindset's like concerning, and that's why my dad teaches me to carry cash because it's not actually whatever you want to do just because you pay, right? Like, if you say to me, "Well, you have to
Right.
come home with me because I paid," like that's a fuck no. I'm a pay
I
and I'm a
never said
dip
I never
because
said anything about that. What you had as bad experiences in your life has nothing to do with the way I operate.
no, but it's the mindset that you're not. I didn't say that happened to me because I like literally vet people out before I go on a date.
Okay, well,
But
I never said anything about. I never mentioned anything about coming
you
home
said
with
it's
me.
what I want to do because I pay.
I never said anything about bringing a woman
If it's a
home. I
date,
never said anything
it's meant to
sexual.
be enjoyable for both people. No,
I never mentioned anything about asking a woman for any sexual favors. I simply said
I didn't
that
say
I'm
that.
provisioning for a date and I'm taking on the accompaniment of a woman on the date
So then
because
it
I'm
only
doing the
has to be enjoyable
provisioning.
for you because you're paying.
That's, I
Because
mean,
you said
I'm
you're
just
doing what they want to do. You said you're doing what you want to do
like you
because you're
said.
paying.
If a man's provisioning for it, he's covering your time. Her time is covered. She can decide to have a good time or not. If I want to go about it that way, right?
Pardon, sorry, I missed that. What did you say?
I'm provisioning for her time. Like you said, if a man pays for your time, it's whether you want to enjoy it or not is your business. I'm bringing you along for my time. You being my arm candy wherever I'm going. So if you want me to
Arm
go about it
candy,
the way
god
I could,
damn.
if I want to go about that way I could, but that's not the way men want to operate.
Keyword want to operate.
Excuse me?
I said keyword want to operate. Want to operate. That's what y'all want to do. It's a choice.
Hmm.
I mean,
And if you
I'm
want
not sure
to
how you
do
can
that,
spin
then
off
those
this.
results might follow.
I just like was asking what's the point if you can just like go with a friend if you don't want a relationship? So like what is the point then?
Because I take on the energy of women when I go. I want to take on the benefit of a woman sometimes when I go certain places.
Oh, so they benefit you.
Women can be beneficial.
So it's a risk, but it's beneficial. Like I'm confused. I'm so confused. No, but can you explain what he's trying to like what that
What he
means?
what he's saying, friend, is that um what he's saying is that what he's saying, like, I know you're like, well, if you have no intentions or whatever, he's saying, like, being that, he's provisioning, and like he said, and he's like, it's not about paying for her time, it's not about expecting anything in return. He's just like, well, if I want to go, for a dinner, the same way you said, well, if you want to just go for a dinner, why don't you like just go with your friends? He wants to go with the company that he wants, to go with. So if that's a woman, whether you consider it a date, whether you don't consider it a date, that's just what he's planning to do, and he's covering everything. So that's just what he wants to do at the end of the day.
I mean, like Wawa even said, like she has like I think that was you, Wawa. Like like your male friends will like you'll go for dinner with them and they'll pay because like that's just how they were raised. I mean, I have the same thing. I would never consider that a
Yeah.
date. Like
Yeah, no, and I mean I'm had lunch with
I'm just see what his
some
end goal
male
is with
friends.
dating. Then
The whole angle is that I'm trying to let you guys understand
no, not angle. I said end game.
that
Like, what's your end
the
goal
end
like
game,
with dating? Then
my end goal is I can get any results I choose to have, right? But the thing is, what y'all were talking about, once again, going back to the main point, was we were speaking about a woman positioning for a man. But you guys know that your daddy told you not to do that. And then Wawa said 30% of people do that.
Right.
And reality is that y'all know that that's no matter what society says, no matter what your education says, no matter how much money you got, you understand you are out of place and you feel out of order provisioning for a man. You don't do that.
And Wawa, when Rob asked you that question initially, he was using those specific careers, but he was just using those specific careers as an example, like whether a woman was going for any of those specific careers or not. You really think out of 1,000 women, 30% of them want to be in a position to where they are 100% financially taking care of a grown man, and he is not doing anything else. He's bringing zero income into whatever they have going on.
And what, kids are out of the equation, right?
What?
Kids are out of the equation, right?
If they're in the equation, if they aren't in the equation.
No,
If they're in the
don't.
equation, I would, yeah, if
What?
they're in the equation, I would say that the percentage is higher than if they're not.
So you're saying that you just think that there are women that actually do want to grow up and 100% financially take care of a man. Yes or
When
no?
it's phrased that way, no. When it's phrased that way, no.
But that's what I've been asking you. You've been saying yes.
But that's because I don't think that anybody wants to grow up and take care of anybody.
Because
But
that's what you don't
have
understand.
but you've
Men
been saying
always grow up and do that.
but you've been
That's
saying
what
the
we're
exact
saying.
opposite.
That's what I'm saying. Men carry that response. I've already said this
You've
so
been
many
saying
times.
the exact
After
opposite, Wawa.
after all of that insulting, all of that all of that my house and I ain't got no date and I'm lonely, all that stuff. All I'm trying to say is men always have to carry the responsibility of doing all the provisioning for their partner. No matter who a man is, how educated he is, what he knows, where he goes, he knows that ultimately his ultimate goal as a man that's taught by society and nature is that he's supposed to be doing 100% of the provisioning for his woman. That's his expectation. But when we put
But
that
that's
weight
the
on your
societal
but when
expectation.
we put that weight on your shoulders, you got all these other excuses and all these things to make up about why it won't work for you, and that don't make any sense. But you want it to make sense for men, and
Okay,
then
so Wawa,
But I don't
let
So
me
are you saying, are you both saying you wish it was like the other way? You wish it was different? Like,
no,
no.
that's
What
not
I'm
what
saying
nobody
is
is saying. Rob has simply asked Wawa if she believes that there are women that actually want to do that. Fran, you have said out of your own mouth that you don't want to do that. We died. I know if I come up
yeah.
here and ask you, I know you're gonna have a lot more than no to say to that. If we be 100% real, women are not growing up and wanting to do that. What type of woman is growing up and wanting willingly to do that? Especially if they're going to be having kids with the man. Like, let's be all the way real here, y'all. We gotta be real at the end of the day. And let me tell you women something that come up here. I'm not talking to like Fran or Wawa. Listen, we had someone earlier up here that was being very disingenuous. For those of y'all that have been on my profile and know a little bit about my content, I make original content, but there are times where I grab stuff from the stream. I just want to let y'all know going forward, if y'all going to come up here and be disingenuous, I know I entertained it today, but I'm not going to be entertaining women that want to come up here and like be disingenuous anymore. And if you do want to come up here and be disingenuous, I am going to post you for the whole world to see it. Cause that's, like, honestly, I wanted to get off earlier when, Super was saying what she was saying. Even Miss Sabrina was in here saying that she was being disingenuous, like, and especially for grown women to be acting like that. That's not cool. But I just want to put that out there, just going forward, so y'all know. If you do want to come up here and be disingenuous, I will put you out there for the whole world to see you being disingenuous. But go ahead with the conversation,
listen.
bro. Y'all are.
All I'm saying is that when it comes down to
I'll tell you,
like
we die. I'll
Wawa,
tell you.
when it comes down to like Wawa said, and maybe she didn't say somebody. All women are saying, "Oh, now in this time, we got money, we're smart, we're educated, we can do what a man can do." Okay, provision 100% and let a man stay in the house. That don't make no sense. Who want to do that? Okay, so you don't want to take on a responsibility and burden that men have been doing for a century, for centuries. Okay, you don't want to do that. Then we say, okay, well, since you have the education and the income level to help in accordance with me, then let's do that. Well, no, ain't it your job to provision and provide and do all that 100% stuff? Okay, well, that's what I've been doing, but I thought you were upgrading yourself so you can benefit me. Oh, no, no, no. So my whole thing is, yet again, back to the main point. All that education, all that money doesn't mean anything generally, because it's never in an effort to increase your value to assist the man. It's always to increase your value to assist yourself. It's simple as that. Because if it was true that all of your increased knowledge and all your increased education was to benefit the family, then we would be in a much better place, because men who have always had a provision to provide for themselves and somebody else would have a lot easier workload, because now you have the access to cash and education to benefit him as well.
But that's what we're
But
doing.
you choose not to do that because
No, but
it's
that's what
not
we're
your
doing.
place.
That's what we're doing. Like, there's two different questions here, right? Like, want to do it. Like, I don't know that anybody, like, I don't know what anybody's wants are. But if you're asking me if today women would do it, I say yeah. I mean, there are women
No,
actively
Wawa,
fighting to change this
Wawa,
perception.
Wawa. When Rob asked you initially, when he asked you the second and third time, when I've asked you 2 or 3 times, we've been very specific in the verbiage we've been using, Wawa. We're not saying we're not saying would. We haven't been asking you would. We have been saying want, willingly want to do that, Wawa. We've like let's not do that, Wawa. We've been very specific with the verbiage that we've been using. Like, so we're not gonna sit here and act like it. The first question that Rob asked you, he said, out of 1,000 women, how many of those women do you think willingly want to go to school, get themselves educated, get their career, start making their money, and be with a man that is contributing $0 to the relationship, to the family, whatever the situation may be? And you said 30% of those 1,000 women would want to do that. So you said out of 1,000 women, 300, you believe 300 women actually want that to be a reality for them. And then when I just asked you a similar question, and you said, well, are kids involved, or are kids not involved? And I said, whether they are involved or they're not involved, you think that number increases when kids are involved. So so now you just said that if they have children, you think that there's even more women that will actually want that to be their situation.
So I think I've been answering would versus want, because when I think about want, it's not a number that I can come up with.
And that's the thing. That's why we can't have any kind of positive and constructive dialogue, because the whole time when y'all were doing all that talking, y'all teamed up, y'all asked me if I am I in the house because of the blinds, and y'all making up all this stuff to try to tear me down, has nothing to do with the conversation. When we get back to the point, nobody can still make any kind of solid criticism about what we're talking about. Y'all talked about everything else around the
Wait,
conversation.
hold on.
Bef-
Because the conversation shifted, right? Like that's how conversations work, like topics shift. But I
no,
asked you whether you were traveling or like whether you were looking for love and what your end goal was with dating, because you made a few points about dating in general, right? Like about how like the burden's on the man and like why when it's a risk for him as well. Like do people go on dates, etc., etc. But that's because the topic shifted. I've consistently like been saying like, yeah, I'm not paying for that. Like I'm
right.
not sure like what
And
the like shift is.
once again, that's why I'm trying to tell you that when men say we don't care and it doesn't matter, because you've got plenty of ability to, but you choose not to. So it doesn't affect me. I'll always have to carry the same responsibility to make sure I'm good and you're good. I can never
Hey, Robin.
depend on you doing your part in contributing into me, because that's not your place. That's not what your dad taught you what to do. And you know that it's not your responsibility. You can choose to do it or not to do it, but a man always has to choose to perform.
So then why do so many not?
The whole point is that when you are making
like, I'm just asking for a perspective on it.
because when it comes to the men choosing not to anymore, it's because back in the day, when a man chose to do it and took on the responsibility, it came with benefits. Those benefits included a woman.
Such as?
Those benefits included a woman that knew her position in accordance with the man, positively, positively,
So what do you, like, what does
positively,
that mean though?
in positive ways.
Yeah. What does that mean
But
though?
what do
Like,
you
I
mean
don't
by
think there's an
that?
objective.
When a
Yeah.
man when a man in previous history and in history provision for a woman, he understood that those benefits of a woman were going to be awarded to him if he did his job. So I hate to
What
go
are
through
the
it.
benefits though?
A woman would be able to support him emotionally. A woman would
She
be
can
able
do
to
that for good.
a woman with provision for him, as in preparedness in the household for him to come into his home and be at peace. A woman had a position where she knew that she was the front runner in making sure the household was intact, was supported, was the children were well kept, the children were clean, the children represented the household well, the woman represented her man well. It came with pride that all of my work outside of the home.
Hold on, Rob. 1 second. Hey, to the people in the chat, listen. I am 100% okay with difference of opinion. Okay, like that's like that's like the whole point of my platform. Like I said, this is not one of them places where it's just like the host just going on a monologue, saying whatever they want to say and not being challenged. This is not a place where I just have people that agree with my point of views. No, we're here to have respectful, constructive conversation. Guys, please stop talking about Fran's father. Please stop
Literally.
going at each other. Please stop going at each other in the chat. Please do not call Rob out of his name. Like, guys, I am 100% okay with difference of opinion, but let's not disrespect each other. I don't foster negative environments. Please, don't be calling Miss Kana out of her name. Like, let's just focus on the topic. Like, if you disagree with something Rob says, you can disagree. You can question them. Wawa, friend, you can all do the same thing, but we're not here to fight and do any of that other stuff. Okay, so please just cut that out. Go ahead, Rob.
But I'm just gonna it came with positive benefits to a man's provisioning. But now in modern times, a woman such as yourself, Fran, I don't think that you understand the respect that goes into, like, a lot of women are no longer carrying that because now they're educated, now they're workers, now they're getting their money. But none of that goes to benefit the man because it's his job to benefit for you. So the whole point is that after all of that is said and done, a man like me and a lot of other men who are still expected to go in provision and do all this hard work are not getting the benefits of our forefathers because now y'all too good to do that. You're too good to do the old job.
Well, but here's
and
the
then
thing.
the new job you're choosing not to perform at.
No. I think the difference between today and then is that back then women literally didn't have the right to access higher education, have access to own their own bank account, own their own house, and times have frankly changed, and they should, because women should have the right to education, thank God, should have the right to own their own bank account, should have the right to access their own housing. That's just a safety perspective, and that's also just like a basic human right,
and
right?
and like I
Yes
just
or
said
no?
Miss,
No, but just yes or no, because I haven't finished. So
like
it's
I
not that we're
just
too
said,
good for the old jobs. It's that because we have the access that men had, we are now able to create our own funds. That's why a lot of people can't stay at home and provide those so-called benefits. That's why a lot of people do split things like housework if they can't, or don't choose to have a cleaner if they don't want to, or don't choose to pay for one. That's why people, you know, don't
Right.
have home cooked meals at 5 p.m. You think those women
And
were
that's
happy?
and
Like,
that's
not
why
all of them were. Some
and
people
that
love being housewives.
and ma'am,
Some people don't.
that's what I'm saying. You're trying so hard to be right. I'm not trying to make you wrong. I'm talking about the
I'm not
subject
trying to
at
be
hand.
right. I'm just saying, like, the reason why those
And
benefits
what
aren't guaranteed anymore is because we have progressed to the
right.
point where we don't have to
You
sit at home all day if we don't
right.
choose to.
You have progressed, right? You have progressed. You as a woman have progressed, and none of your progression goes toward benefiting the man.
If the money in the household is aggregately larger because both people are working, and we know from statistical data from the census and from like the Bureau of Labor Statistics and from the National Bureau of Economic Research that two income households do better than one income households.
Okay.
Aggregately
And
speaking,
and and,
there's
and one
certain
more
states where we can point to, but I don't have that info right now.
and
So
ma'am,
it does contribute.
we don't need it. One more time. If what you're saying is exactly true, right?
But you're saying it's not contributing to
but
the man, but it is it because
listen.
it contributes to the household that he's in.
You gotta listen. If what you're saying is true, and what you're supporting,
I mean,
that
it
you're
is
saying you
true.
don't have data, okay, perfect. I'm glad. I'm glad you said that. It is true. Okay, so why is it such a point of contention for women to take a position that benefits the man financially and in every other way? If you're saying that now you have the access to more, then like you just said, two income household is better than one. So that would mean you should be taking on half of the responsibilities because now you have the same access as men, right? So since the old way doesn't work anymore,
Well,
because now
no,
you
it's. I
are
mean,
in,
it would depend on the
okay,
household and
right, right. So the
how the wealth is split. It doesn't necessarily
right.
50-50.
So going back to the old way, you're saying that now you as a woman, you're progressed out of that. You now don't have to stay in the house. You get money. Two incomes is better than one. So that would mean that now the true responsibility of a woman should be contributing just as much as a man is because now you have access.
Well, so
And you said it was true. You
I'm
see how that
saying
works?
because I'm saying that yes, I'm saying I'm not seeing. I'm not sure how you're not seeing that. Like two incomes contributing into one household benefits
Mm-hmm.
the household, not just the woman, not just the man. They both have access. Like we're assuming in this scenario that
Uh-huh.
it's a joint account because it's what the majority of households have.
Okay.
Okay. So you're both investing into that household. So then, yeah, obviously, since you're both working, you both can't be at home 100% of the time either because you're not in
Right.
the house.
Right.
Even if you're
And
working from
so
home, you're not in the house 100% of the time. Like you're working.
right. And then back to the beginning of the conversation. If you believe that to be true and you're so progressive, why do you still hang on to the benefits of old ideology of not paying for the
Because
first
before,
day?
okay, hold on. I never said I was progressive. Like that's a big statement to make. Like I don't assume my alignment with various ideologies. I never said I'm progressive. I said society has progressed within the realm of rights, right? Like literally. And I think every single one of us on this chat right now, I mean, on the screen is literally like at least 50% black. And I'm saying that because I'm 50%. Like some of our ancestors couldn't have voted. Like we've literally progressed as a society.
And
So,
once again, you're going in a
but
circular
dating
argue.
versus living with someone is going
Ma'am,
on a date, your
here's my
first date
thing.
versus
You
living
keep
with someone and being
circling
married is
around
two very
to
different things.
you keep circling around to things outside of the scope of
But
what
they're
we're
two
talking
separate
about.
things.
And what we're talking about is
No, because they're
exactly
two
as I
separate
just said.
things. Your first date
Women,
and marriage are two separate things.
women as a whole have progressed outside of their traditional values, their traditional outcomes that they used to have. They progressed out of that because now they have access to jobs and education. I'm going to keep getting to this point so you can understand it. Because so now that means that if that is
So
true,
like I literally have a degree in economics. Please don't tell me to understand like a basic concept, okay? Like I understand what you're talking about.
okay,
What I'm
but if
saying is a
it's
first date versus marriage
okay,
is very different. An
but
accumulative aggregate amount of money into a household is very different to a single date.
okay, so over
Very
how
different.
Okay, so over how many dates should a man still provision for you?
That's up to like what is happening, right? Like if we're going on a walk for like an hour is like a third date to like chit chat and catch up and grab a Starbucks. Like I really don't care if I pay for my own Starbucks. Don't care. I'll get there as my points. I could give less of flying ass. First date though, if they ask me, yeah, they're paying because that's my time. I didn't initiate that. Same way that if I go onto a website and I order something, I've initiated that I want it, I'm paying. Like, I mean, it's just like when whoever initiates the transaction of time, yeah, like that's on you. But like onwards, as I've said previously, it's not necessarily up to the man every time. I wouldn't expect someone to pay for like 50 dates through the whole way,
Okay,
especially if they like involve various different things. But that's discussed as you date.
okay, so it don't have to be discussed because you've already said that we already know that women have bank accounts now. Women are educated. Women have jobs. So what I'm trying to say, if you believe that to be true, then the same should also be true for men that we should no longer carry on the burden of provision for any woman. If we're interested in her, we should no longer carry on the responsibility of think we need a provision fully for you because we know that you have access and you progressed and you have a job and you have education, so you can provision for me just as I provision for you. So you're saying that's
But as
archaic,
I said, it's
outdated.
did I initiate? Does the woman
Okay,
generally speaking initiate the first date?
right. But what I'm saying is that
No,
you gotta understand that you can't carry on the benefits of a traditional way while existing in the progressive way. That's all I want to say.
it's not
That's
the
what,
benefit of a traditional way though, because it's not a benefit necessarily. And as
okay.
I said, I take my cash with me on the first date in case I'm not enjoying my time. I can pay in dip. Like, I'm not
Okay.
sure what you're not grasping here. If someone asks someone to do something on
Okay.
a dating level,
Okay.
they're the person who pays.
Okay.
I personally don't ask men out. So, yeah, I'm not paying. If I did,
Okay.
yeah, I'll pay because I'm asking you to set time aside for me.
Okay. So you keep trying to reiterate that he's paying for your
But as
time.
I said, the first time, no, as I said, I don't ask men on dates. So the first date, they're always asking me. So yeah, they can pay. If it was the other way around, I'd be more than happy to.
and
But
you
I don't do that.
and you keep trying to and the reason you don't do that is because you know that that's not your position. So you traditional on the whenever you feel like it, and then you want to do.
It's not because I don't have time and I don't want to.
Yeah. And I understand this might be out of your
I
depth.
don't know what this position thing is because it sounds very negative. This
At, at,
position thing seems
at
very negative. Like
yeah,
we
at
we
23,
all perceive our
we
positions
talking at two
differently.
different levels, and I'm trying to have a constructive conversation for everybody else that's
But we're
watching.
not because like you can't you're grasping within like one realm like so we are interpreting things at different levels because you're seeing things on one plane platform but like that's not how real life is.
That is how real life
Like
is.
realistically, Noble, like if you were to if a girl asked you on a date, Noble, like would you pay? Probably not, right?
What'd you say, friend?
I said if a girl asked you on a date, who would you expect to pay? Her, right?
If she asked me on a date, I would expect her to pay. But
Right. And if
friend,
you asked a girl on a date,
but yeah, but friend, but like, but how, but
yeah, but
in
then but
realistically,
when you're married, isn't it a different scenario?
when you're married, it's a
Yeah.
different scenario. But realistically, friend, how many women are
Right.
men out on dates though?
Honestly, like I've seen it on TikTok, but like I know my friends don't, but like I
On
think it's way
TikTok.
more common than we think. Only
You
because, and I say this only because, yeah, on TikTok because
you
I've seen it on
saw a
TikTok.
girl
Like I'm
ask
saying where I've
a
seen
woman
it.
on a date on TikTok. A model actor on TikTok ask a dude on a date as
I didn't say a
a
model
parody
actor, like
account.
a just a regular person. I didn't say any of those things.
TikTok.
I've seen it on TikTok multiple times, but that's just I'm seeing
I've
where I'm
seen it
saying
on
where I've seen it.
TikTok.
I'm
In
providing context,
reality,
okay? So
in
relax.
reality, do your 23-year-old homegirls go and ask dudes on dates and they make sure they pay for it?
Honestly, not. We're not really dating, but no, like in my friendship group, no.
Right.
Right. That's it. Just leave it at that. Ain't nothing else to qualify because they know that they're not in the position where they're progressive as they say they are. If they were progressive as they say they are and claiming they got money and they got the time, they would be going on the equal amount of dates as men that ask women on dates, and they
So
would
friend,
be back.
friend, Rob is not complaining about, you know, the way stuff are. All he is saying, Fran, he finds it very interesting that despite, like you said, despite the fact that the progression that has been made, especially with the woman, that when it comes to certain things like dating, that we're still operating as if all that progression has not been made. So like, you know, um, why is it that more women are not, you know, being the ones to initiate? Why is it that more women are not taking men out on dates? That's all he's saying. He's not complaining about it at all. All he's saying is, I mean, can I mean, do you see, like, do you, is that worded better, friend? Do you get where I'm coming from with it?
Yeah. I mean,
That's all. Go ahead.
I feel like the best way to realistically like have this like, you know, I'm a number person, you're a number person too. I feel like the best way to like actually analyze like how things are happening would be to have like a random poll or something like sent out like on a mass basis. Like I don't even know like in which manner, but if there
We
was like
don't
a
need a
TikTok
mass
ad, like,
poll.
do you
We just
ask
asked
men
you.
out on dates? I suppose.
We just asked you. You're
Hold on,
No,
Rob.
but
23
I'm
years
saying
old.
like
You're
on
young.
I'm can I finish? I'm saying I feel like the best way to realistically get like a good perception of like what's realistically occurring is to like would be like a randomized poll because like
Don't need
my
no poll.
perception and like other people's perception that's based on our circle. And I
But
don't know. I don't personally see like my friends asking guys out on dates, but like I don't know if that does happen. And I think it would be interesting to see because
now,
we have
friend,
no clue.
friend,
Realistically, we have no clue.
I listen. Are there women in not only in our not only in our country but in the world that have initiated, you know, like relationships with men? Are there women out here that have and do, you know, court men and ask them to take them out on dates? 100%. Um, Now, do I think it's a like, friend, same way your father, you know, told, you know, you what he's told you. Like, friend, I have an older sister, I have a younger sister. Like, I'm not even telling them to like take no man out on a date. And if you ask me like why is that, I don't even know if I could really give you like a legit reason other than like it's just not normal. It's just not common for it to be that way. Like, I'm not about to be telling either of my sisters to be taking men out on dates, going to pick them up, paying for their ride share, paying for their Uber, paying for their Lyft, you know, paying for their dinner, paying for their drink, paying for their dessert, you know, taking them to the bar, the lounge, or the club after whatever it is, and funding that as well. Like, we come on, that's not, we can't even act like that is something that is commonly going on. It's not.
Simply put, what I'm here's what I'm saying. I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse. I got respect for this young lady at 23 years old because I remember when I was 23 and what I thought about the world. And even as a man, I'm sure it's a lot different from a young girl, but I had different things I was thinking about. So it's no insult. I'm just saying that at a certain pace, things change. So my whole thing is all I'm trying to emphasize is that the progression that women are so gung ho about promoting doesn't really benefit anybody else in the situation. It's just all the benefit towards them and what they want and their desires, but it doesn't spill out anywhere else in the world. It doesn't benefit the man. It doesn't that progression. It doesn't
Okay,
take us anywhere.
we can't say anywhere else in the world, right? But
The progression doesn't take us anywhere.
I mean, I feel like people having a financial independence for longer periods of time, people have seen when I say longer periods of time, right? People are single for longer now, and I think that's kind of a result, partially to do with that. Also, if you're hearing weird noises, sorry, I have Grey's Anatomy on, but
Fine.
um, I also think it's not necessarily a bad thing for people to have that safety net for themselves, whether that be the man or the woman. And I think we see it accumulate into like a benefit when they do get married,
When you
right?
say
Like
safety net, when you say
households do
safety net,
have
what
more
do you
money
mean?
now.
What do you mean by safety net?
When I say what?
What do you mean by
Well,
safety?
when women, so when our grandparents were growing up, right, like women had it a lot harder in terms of education and getting jobs. And like, this is just assuming our grandparents are the same age, right? Like my grandma's like in her 80s. Yeah. So they didn't have like a backbone for themselves. So like marriage was way more attractive back then because like that's the only way you could get a house and a bank account. And like that marriage was the safety net. Now it's not the safety net that it used to be because people have their own salaries and they can have their own apartments and their own life, and there's not as much of an attraction because it's not
Right.
a necessity to live.
Right. And one more
And I
time,
think that's also why people are like, less intrigued by marriage.
no, not people, women.
The benefits that was like taught in church or wherever else is like not necessarily realized now because women can fend for themselves the
Right.
way that our grandparents and great grandparents couldn't.
And Miss Fran, that's what we're saying. That's what we're saying. Is that now it's not people. Now women have the benefit of having their own, right?
Mm.
So now they have their quote unquote safety net where
I
they
wouldn't
don't
say it's a yeah.
hold on, they don't need no man. So there's no benefit to being married because now they got their own. Because they not like grandma stuck in the house, stuck in a marriage because they couldn't have. So now women can have, so they don't need no man, right? So what I'm saying is that if all of that is true, you don't need no man, you got your own, you have your own safety net, you don't benefit from marriage like you used to, right? So why are these women still extracting benefits from men without the men receiving the same benefits that they used to do traditionally, right? So if women have
Okay.
So like Fran, you should be, and
Yeah.
I'm not talking about me
Sorry,
specifically,
I'm
but
saying okay because I'm grasping what your thought process is now.
yeah.
Mhm.
right,
So Fran, like for example,
Basic
like
supply and demand though, right? Like if the implication I'm seeing though is that men would still want to marry and like the women are less inclined to, right? Like it's a similar rate for men. Is that what you're saying? Like similar rate of men still want to get married probably, and women
right. So
perhaps less so.
right. So now we're getting some
Mhm.
When there's a lower supply then and the demand is higher than the supply, the price of that good increases. Like it's more scarce. So
Mhm.
therefore, you have to, yeah, literally, like my
so
economist jumped out. Therefore, people are willing to pay a higher price for that commodity. So, like, that's why it's so much more on. If you're perceiving it as a burden, I don't know whether I would see it as one, but if you're
he's not
perceiving it as a
perceiving
burden to take that risk to get that good,
no, he's not perceiving it as a burden. He just that's literally
okay.
yeah, that friend, that's literally all he's saying. Like, okay, so being that what I was able to do and what we were only able to do for you 50, 60, 70 years ago, you are in a position to now where you can not only do that for yourself, but you can do that for me, the man, as well. So why is it that like, we like you women need to be getting men flued out. You need to be taking men out on dates, taking me on shopping
Wait,
spree because now you have the money, you have the resources to do so now.
right,
That's all he's saying.
but if their demand for men is lower, then they're willing to pay way less. They're willing to sacrifice less because they don't want that. If someone doesn't want something, they're valuing it as less. Therefore, they'll put less time slash money towards it, and vice versa.
right. So now we're getting somewhere
So
after
if we
all
look
the
at it from like
discussion.
the dating thing that we said,
After all that discussion, now we're finally getting somewhere. So that's why I stayed the course because it had to make sense eventually. So what I'm saying, after like Noble just said, is that now women have access. They don't have the same reverence for the marriage like their grandmothers used to because now they got their own. They don't need literally do not need a man to provision for themselves. So that would mean by default, right? That if they do decide, if we stay in that progressive kind of realm, if they do decide to continue to match with men, it should be even easier than before because now she has access to money and she can benefit the man just like he
But if
has
she's
always
less
benefited
willing
her.
to, okay, so
Right,
there's like this basic concept of like foregone opportunities, right? So when we buy things, so a rational person would say, okay, well, here's my two alternatives. I can either go for lunch with my friends or I can go for lunch with this man. Which one? Which one do I want to do more? Which one provides me the most benefit? Okay, so if someone sees, having a good time with people they already know, and they already know the outcome, and they trust in
Right.
whatever else, that has a high value, high outcome for them, right? So that they value that time a lot more than going on a date. So it would make sense that people don't want to, slash women don't want to spend as much time slash money on a date if that's not what they want. If they're not demanding that, and then yeah, you'd pay less because it's got less opportunity for you.
okay,
Whereas with men, if men are initiating dates or whatever, that decision being made to even ask for the date is already implicating that like you've assessed those costs, you've assessed those benefits, and you've chosen to ask because you'd quite like to do that.
right. And
So
one
there's
more
a
time,
higher premium put on that,
right.
which is the price paid.
So now you're talking about economics, right? So if you want to take it that way, my whole thing is simply put, why would I if a woman is always a woman, right? Why would I then pay an increased cost for the same product? It's not scarce.
Because the supply is lower than the rate of demand.
No, the supply is not lower. The supply isn't lower.
No, the supply of people willing to engage on that date, not like the literal supply, not the actual number of women, the number of women willing to, let's say, go on that date would be lower.
Right. So you think it makes complete sense that a man should now pay a higher cost. He should pay premium for the product
When
because
I said higher premium, I mean in comparison to the woman.
right. So you're saying that as a man, I should definitely take on a much higher burden and pay a much higher premium for access to the product that just got repackaged.
Well, just look at oil. There's less around, so people are paying more for it. They're still buying it, but
No,
they're
this
paying more for it.
no
So
this
there's less people like willing to
there's
drive long
plenty of
distances right now.
oil. They just the market just wants to squeeze in and bottleneck
Okay,
the
I'm not going to
production of
delve
it.
into the fundamentals of oil pricing.
Okay,
Maybe that
so
was a
let's
bad
talk about
example.
pussy.
Let's say there's like
There's all kinds of women. There's plenty of women,
uh,
but you're choosing to bottleneck the market and give men the same thing they used to benefit from before. It's a choice that women are making to squeeze the market. Since you
it's
want to,
not squeezing the market
it's
though. If someone
squeezing the
doesn't want
market
something, if
because
the
it's something
demand
that
decreases,
it's squeezing. It's called squeezing the
if people
market.
don't want it, they don't want it.
There's plenty of women.
No,
Women have
okay.
always been the same, right? You now have the choice that you don't have to give the same product to the men. So now women are squeezing the market. How do women squeeze the market? By now saying the same product that we used to give you, now we want you to pay more for it. It's the same product. It's the same thing. We're just choosing not to do it. We're choosing not to sell it to you, and we want you to pay a higher cost for it. So that's why women or men are now asking, what the heck is going on? Why are you expecting me to do this and this and this? And it's the same thing you've always been doing. It's the
Because
same thing.
so if you don't
Right.
want,
So once again,
someone doesn't want to,
right. So we're talking right. So
if
that's
someone
what I'm
doesn't
saying. You
want
about
to sell a good,
you
and this sucks because we obviously think
right.
differently. Like I literally perceive everything as a graph.
No,
But
ma'am. Hold on,
if
please.
men are
We're not
asking,
thinking differently,
what you just
friend.
said was that men are still asking for the same thing and women are less willing to provide it unless there's a high premium paid.
Right.
So we can see that as like an entry cost, right? Like there's a
No,
barrier to entry, like you must like pay for this day or whatever. But that's
if
because like I'm
come
not
on.
sure why you're not getting this, like
No,
because the
why
way that
aren't
I'm
you
like viewing this
getting
in
it?
my head, it makes so much sense.
Why aren't you getting it?
Less
You
demand
walk
for
into,
men, let's
ma'am,
say,
you
for
walk into a
example.
dollar store. Everything on this shelf, there's 100 items. They're all $1. You look at the cashier, I want to buy an item for $1. Here you go, here's it for $1. Now you go back to the cashier the next day. The same one, they got the shelf restocked again, 100 items. Okay? 100 items on the shelf. They used to, it's $1. You see it's all the same product. Now they're saying,
Okay, but that's the thing so that's
they're
exactly,
saying,
wait, pause there. That's where
limited.
you're getting it wrong. So there's no longer 100 items.
It's still the same amount of women.
No, but what she's saying is that now that women
No, but you're not grasping it. There's not
as
the same amount of women willing to provide that benefit, or as you're seeing it, a good on a store shelf. There's not the same amount of women. That's why the like squeeze of the market, so as you're calling it, is
Right.
happening. That's like, so your perception of like what's happening with oil is people aren't willing to sell the oil. They're not offering that good anymore.
And listen, that's what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm just saying.
So there's not 100 items on the shelf anymore. There's 60.
You're choosing not to offer it just for the greed of it.
No, because they don't want to.
Right. I just say that. You don't want to.
No, it's because they don't want to. I'm saying how you're perceiving it as a squeeze is that there's actually less on the market. There's less. So you go back the next day, there's actually 60 items, but there's still 100 people wanting to buy them. How is the best way to then decide who gets the good?
All the products still work.
No, there's only 60 though. You're not grasping. There's less items.
Ma'am, it's 100.
There's less items. So how do you decide who buys it? You maximize your consumer and supply surplus by hitting a higher price. So then you sell them for $1.25 instead of $1.
Yeah, you squeeze
because there's only 60, but there's still 100 people wanting the same item.
Right,
but there's less items.
You're squeezing the market. You're not
It's not oh my fucking god! I like literally.
Women are now squeezing the market because they're no longer given the same values that they used to, right? Because they're choosing not to, like you just said, they're choosing not to do the same thing. All women still have all the same abilities that they always had, but they're choosing not to act on those abilities because they want to squeeze more out of men for those abilities, right?
Even it's because they don't want to, though. Right. And also, can you stop saying market squeeze? Because that's not what a market squeeze is, and it's killing me. It's killing me. That's not how market squeezes work.
That is a market squeeze.
But no, you're not.
That's a market squeeze. That's how the diamond trade
works.
No,
but can I? Let me do like an example. So Wawa. Yeah. Let's say that you walk into a store and there's 5 chocolate bars.
Yes.
They're $1 each. Let's use the dollar thing. And you buy one, okay? And you're the only person in the store that day. You go back the next day, how many chocolate bars are left? Assuming there's non-replenished.
4.
Right. But let's say this time there's 5 people there and you all want the exact same chocolate bar. Would you be willing to pay more for that good?
Yeah, because there's less. And I want it.
Right. Exactly. And
once again,
let's say the cashier is like, actually, I want one myself. I don't want to actually, I can't sell all 4. I'm actually only going to sell 3. Would you then increase how much you're willing to pay again?
Yes, because there's less. And I still want it.
And then y'all doing this same,
so that's why
again. You're talking to each other, trying to confirm each other, and that's
because you can't grasp the concept that there's less available.
No, it's not less available.
God, there's less available because people don't want to date as much.
Diamond trade works. There's always a huge.
Yeah, do you want to know why they're in the back? Because they don't want to be sold. What can't you grasp?
That's what I'm saying.
Bruh, your teachers must have had such a struggle with you because this is insane.
It is insane.
If it's not on the market because it's in the back, it means it's not available. It's not available for purchase.
So I'll speak to Noble now.
So the supply that is available to the market is less.
Is that all women?
Oh my fucking god!
All women have the ability to be your wife, but like I just said, the women are choosing.
But they don't want to be.
They're choosing not to do your gig, right?
So now God forbid a woman doesn't want to do something.
They're trying to squeeze more out of you for the same thing that you could have got for the same amount of work as before. So now they're making you work harder, go harder for the same product that you could have got for a lot easier back in the day.
No, but I
They're
think
squeezing more
like
out of you, the consumer, because they're choosing not to give you the product that you could have got for the same amount back in the day. Do you understand that, Noble?
I do understand what Rob is saying, friend. When you say there's less, when you say that, friend, are you saying that there's less women?
Because no, there's obviously a larger population. What I'm saying is, if someone's not willing to, there's a barrier to that. So there's less people available to accept the same price as before. That's why I used the
Okay.
products as an example, because I was trying to get him to grasp what's in the back doesn't matter because it's not available.
Okay. So like you said,
You
friend,
can't just go back and pick a woman and make them sell it, right? Like, or the
friend, like
chocolate bar.
so friend. Okay, let me put it like this. So like you said, friend, like you said, there is less that are willing to provide the same price as before. So now they are going to require more out of you. So right to get
no,
it right.
she's saying they
Wait,
don't want to participate at all.
Lord have mercy.
Well,
Thus,
what you
your
say?
she's saying they don't want to participate at all. Thus, your pot decreases.
yes.
So the premium on those left in the pot is higher.
Okay, so Frank. Okay, I'm just trying to understand both. So Frank, you're saying because of the money, the resources, etc. now, and because, like Rob said, I don't need a man. I can provide for myself. Da 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 da. So now I'm not even there are more women that aren't even like trying to participate in the context of what we're saying, just relationship and marriage now, because they're not so dependent on a man.
Correct.
So with that being
Yes.
said,
Right. Let me do like a really quick example.
So with that being said,
Let me flip it. Okay.
we
Y'all,
have
we got a graph.
we
I
have
don't
some
need no
woman
freaking.
we have some women that like you said don't want to
Right. You got your
participate.
demand. You got your supply. Right.
So Noble,
Supply.
let me tell you one
This
more
is your
time, Noble.
chocolate, and this
No,
is
listen,
Rob.
Noble. Listen to
Okay.
what they just said.
When the chocolate
They
bar
just told you
decreases
the
because you've
truth.
sold one,
The truth is
it
they're
goes
making
shift
you
left.
work harder for the same thing you could have got as always.
I understand.
So they're
Your
squeezing the
price,
market.
which is up here,
Understanding.
P.
Right. So that's why a quality date went from $50 to $100, and now $100 date is now a $200 date. Right.
Because Rob, because as the
and
woman, I didn't have the 50 before, but I have the 50 now. So if you
It's
want to go
women.
on this date, instead of
Right.
I don't know, Chick-fil-A, like we need to go to, I don't know,
Right.
Fogo de Chao. Or instead of Fogo
Right.
de Chao, we need to go
And
to 7 or something like, you
right.
know what I mean?
And as this
I
continues,
understand.
Mr. Noble, as this
I'm we done.
continues, if this continues, right, what's going to happen is now they're going to say, even to look in my direction, you need to pay a premium, right? If we allow this to continue, they're going to say, even to get my attention, you're going to have to pay a premium, because guess what? The women are out of stock. We don't got no more women that want to like you for you. Now
Brother.
you need to pay
Okay,
for
but do you
attention.
see this? Okay, so once you
I'm not
sell
worried
one,
about your
the
graph. Now I'm
supply
talking to Noble.
decreases.
So
So the
Noble,
price that
the way
people are
this
willing to
works
pay in
is
this market, the
Noble.
demand hasn't changed. It increases.
What's
That
going to
price
happen
increases. That's an
is
upward
that
shift, okay? And the
as they
quantity's
keep
still gone
squeezing
down.
the
So if
market,
people
you're
don't
going to
want to
be priced out of the
participate,
market. If you keep paying attention to this, what they're talking about, she clearly just told you
No,
verbatim.
Rob, I'm a man.
Clearly,
Rob, I'm a man, brother. I know what's going on, okay?
you're
she
not
told
grasping it, bro.
she
Like, oh,
told you
Jesus.
verbatim, women are choosing to squeeze more out of you. Women are choosing to put their hand around your
No,
throat.
I said we're
and
choosing
say,
to not
work
participate
harder.
because women don't want to date. For
Women are
fuck's sake.
choosing.
Grasp it.
No,
Fucking hell.
women are choosing
And
to
stop
tell
giving
you
stop giving
work
him new
harder.
vocabulary because he
Women
heard the
are
word premium
choosing.
and now he's using it again
Women are
incorrectly.
choosing to tell you, Noble, hey, you playing basketball and getting you a degree, it ain't enough. Go get another 2 degrees. Go get another $100,000. Go get another.
No, they're saying if I don't want to date you, I don't want to date you, and that's on it. That's it. They're saying if I don't want to date you, that's it. There's no price you can
Okay,
pay.
hold on, Rob.
There is no price you can pay if someone doesn't participate in the market.
Hold on, Rob.
What do you not grasp? If someone doesn't want to participate in it,
I'm about to ask Fran a question.
if someone doesn't want to date, they don't have
Hold on,
to.
Rob.
There
I'm
is
about
no
to ask-
price that you can pay
hold on.
to date them.
I'm about to ask Fran a question. So, Fran, if women are having, you know, the money and the resources today that they didn't have before, like just like realistically and logically, if forget about the ones that you say don't want to participate. Let's talk about the ones that do want to participate. if I'm not adding to what you can already do for yourself, are you really, am I really bringing any value to you? If I can just do what you can do for yourself, how am I really bringing any value to you at that point? If I am bringing any value at all.
Right. She's extracting your value. She's extracting your value and then giving you nothing for it. That product.
No, this is what I'm saying. So I'm not at that point. I'm not bringing any value to you because I can just do what you can already do for yourself. So
Right.
as the woman, you're requiring me to do more now because like I can already do that for myself. I don't need you to do that for me.
The truth comes out. The truth always comes out. It took some time. It took some insults. Took some talking about me, but the truth comes out. I don't want to do it.
Am I chat?
I don't want to do it. That's what the women are saying.
Chat, listen. Okay, listen. I'm a young man, so I know what's like really going on outside these days. Now, I don't need Rob to say what he's saying. I understand the point that Fran is making as far as like not participating but like what I just said, the chat, do you guys grasp what I just said? Because I've been letting them go back and forth. I'm tripping, we done? Okay. Hey, Wawa, please, Wawa, I appreciate you. As always, love having you on here. Please give your last words on anything that you want to talk about, and then I want to bring We Dot up here.
Oh, no, I'm good. Y'all have a good night.
All right, cool. I'm going to be on here tomorrow, right? Because I'm putting Shorty on blast. All right.
I'll stop in.
All right, for sure.
Ooh.
Have a good night.